Welcome to Claim the Power of Your Voice and Make More Money. I'm your host, Snowden McFall, 25-year professional speaker, 6-time author, and coach to women. And I ignite greatness in achievers. Is that you? Are you an achiever? If so, you're in the perfect place at the perfect time. I'd love to hear from each of you right now. So if you could take a moment and put into the chat where you're from, what country you're from, and whether you're a working woman, a woman business owner, or perhaps a smart man who decided to join us. I know that we have people registered from Spain and New Zealand and Australia and Germany and Belgium, in addition to the United States. So welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I believe that women are the future of the planet. With our emotional intelligence, our willingness to make decisions for the highest good of all concerned, and our willingness to use our finances to better our children, to educate our families, and to move forward, women are in a unique opportunity time. Women can have a huge impact on the planet. I believe that. And yet I know that COVID has been tough for women. Yes, there are 41 CEOs of Fortune 500 companies now, but you know, that's Fortune 500. So 41 out of 500 is a long way to go. And 3 million women left the workplace during COVID. And it's expected that it will take a full decade before they fully return. And that's because most of them are taking care of their children. Some of them became women business owners. And if that is you, congratulations. I'm very happy for you, very proud of you. And I stand with you. I've been a woman business owner for over 30 years. I know the ups and downs and the joys and satisfaction of bringing success to your clients. But all too often, women have limiting belief settings and limiting patterns in their heads that stop them from succeeding. When you have negative judgment and negative self-talk, you limit your income earning potential. And I want that to stop. I want you to earn as much money as you want to earn and be as successful as you possibly can. You have unique talents and gifts, and the world needs them. So let's get started. You're here today because you wanted to learn how to claim the power of your voice, be a more confident public speaker, and a more profitable entrepreneur. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to cover in today's session. We're going to talk about who will benefit and why you should listen to me, what the promise is and the transformation that can occur for you. And then we're going to talk about the 3 foundational principles of fired up coaching. And we're going to take a look at the demonstration. That's where we get into the meat of what you're here for, how to shift you claiming your voice, how to make more money and hold on to it. And then I'll answer any questions you may have. So who will benefit from today's program? Women business owners and professionals who want to claim the power of their voice, be comfortable when presenting online or in person, and make more money doing what they love. So why should you bother to listen to me? I have been speaking for over 25 years and have written 6 books, working on my 7th. Humbled to hear that my Fired Up book has sold over 65,000 copies worldwide. I also have been blessed to appear on hundreds of global media outlets, including CNN, Fox News, and Bloomberg Television. I've spoken for hundreds of clients, including PepsiCo, Allstate, and Johnson & Johnson. And I have my own television show, Ignite Success for Women. And I've interviewed over 100 prominent global women. Perhaps you will be my next interviewee. And most of all, I was deeply touched to be named National Women in Business Advocate of the Year by the U.S. Small Business Administration for my nonprofit work. This led to me being honored at the White House and in U.S. Congress. What is to me the greatest success is what happens for my clients. I'd like to tell you about April Schoen. You wouldn't think that COVID would be a good time for a financial planner, and yet April proved that thought wrong. She had a unique idea of providing education to people about retirement issues through webinars, but she needed to do some work on her speaking capabilities and her virtual presentations. And we did work on that, and her confidence went way up. And 2020 was the best year she'd had until 2021, where she's outstripped herself. Melissa Fulmore Hardwick is a dynamo. And when I met her, she was already a pretty good speaker. But she has a big personality. And so we needed to calm that down a little bit and contain it for the right time. We needed to work on her growth mindset. She is now CIO, a C-suite executive in a large global company. And she is also the founder of Brown Girls in the Boardroom. And she's working on a global initiative to bring more people of color into the IT field. I'm so proud of her. Joey Scharf wanted to provide education in the form of videos. Perhaps many of you are doing videos as well. But like so many of us, she had a tough background. She and I share having grown up with alcoholic parents, and her childhood was even more scary than mine was. And she had a lot of work to do on herself. And so we unearthed what was holding her back and blocking her from her full power. And she stepped into her power, and she learned how to be an effective speaker online and in front of videos. And now her business is thriving. So what's the promise of what can happen for you when you claim your voice? I'd like you just to imagine that it's a beautiful sunny morning and you relax sipping a soothing cup of tea or coffee. You log into your bank account and you smile broadly, seeing a huge increase in your bank balance. You're filled with joy and security as you realize you're thrilled that your higher fees reflect the great value that you deliver. Did you know that women have a tendency to undercharge and to charge quite a bit less than men? But now you're thrilled because your higher fees reflect the value that you offer. You're free of the self-doubt that used to hold you back. Most women have that self-doubt, and it's easy to get rid of it. And you're confident and excited about speaking in public about your business, whether it's going to meet clients and sharing what you can do for them and the value you offer, or whether you're speaking in front of several hundred people. You're enthusiastic when you share about your business. And you're consistently attracting in clients with your new money mindset. Think right now, how would you feel? How fantastic would it be for you if you were able to live your life this way and have this be the way you start your morning? Be pretty great, wouldn't it? So what's the transformation that takes place? Well, before, when I first start working with women, they have a tendency when they're speaking to talk in a monotone and not hold anybody's interest or attention. Or they read from a script and they're looking down and no one can see their face or their eyes. Or they're nervous and shaky. And I really get this one. When I won the national award, before that, I had won the regional award. And for some reason, that day, my nerves got the best of me. My voice became thin and reedy, and my hands were shaking, and my knees were shaking, and my eyes were like deer in headlights. I was so mortified that I got myself a speech coach, and it's never happened again. No audience engagement In no way, shape, or form do they participate with their audience, and that means the audience is probably on their phone doing something else. And they trailed off at the close of the speech instead of having a strong call to action. And the audience was quiet at the end, not because they were moved, because they weren't moved. After we worked together, they use great vocal variety. They hold the audience's interest. They use no notes. There's some great memory tricks that I can teach you where you remember your content without using a script or notes. They're confident and poised. They involved their audience. And they used a good call to action. Do you know what you want your audience to do when you're finished speaking? And then the audience applauded loudly or even gave them a standing ovation. So right now, I want to hear from you. I want to know, I'm going to share a poll here, and I want to hear from you. What are the speaking challenges that you have that you would like to have addressed? So just take a moment and vote here, and we'll find out what your speaking challenge issue is. So for most of us, this poll issue, the whole issue is nerves. That's the biggest concern that most of us have. And so I'm going to teach you some techniques today where you can overcome your nerves and get through that stumbling block. Some of you may have some other issues as well. So the best part about this is that you can have that kind of success without having to doubt yourself, without having to be anxious every time you speak, without having to memorize your speech. That's one of the worst things you can do, because inevitably you will forget and then you lose your place. And it is very dangerous to try and memorize your speech. You want to be spontaneous with your audience and respond to them. And you want to be a PowerPoint wizard only in your own mind. You don't have to be that for your audience. PowerPoint is a tool, and we've all heard of death by PowerPoint, which is when there's 50 words on a slide and the person sits there and reads the slide and nobody pays attention. You don't have to do that. You don't even have to use PowerPoint if you don't want to. And you don't have to be fake or inauthentic. You know, the imposter syndrome is alive and well with many, many women. And we think we have to put on your hair and makeup a certain way, and you have to be somebody you're not. You're terrific just as you are. You have great gifts to share. And you want to make sure that you do share those gifts with the world. And without having to undercharge for your services. Do you know that when women go to negotiate a salary for a new job, the statistics are that they typically negotiate for 28% less than what a man would. 28%. It's crazy. You deserve that so much more. And you don't have to stress out over money. The simplest part is that you allow me to guide you through a powerful visualization. When you let the real you shine through, your success is inevitable. So the three foundational principles of Fired Up coaching are: not all trains are created equal, the tip of the iceberg, and be like the notorious RBG. Not all trains are created equal. If you grew up in the United States, you may be familiar with the story, The Little Engine That Could, and perhaps some of you around the globe have read it as well. The story goes that there was a little engine who was in a yard of all these other engines carrying freight around the country. Most of these engines were big and powerful, and they were carrying important cargo like ships or business cargo from place to place. And the little engine that could always wanted to be sent out to carry cargo, but never was allowed to. And there was cargo being carried by another engine for Christmas, toys and food for children. And that engine set out, and halfway through its trip, it broke down. And so there was a call for help back to the yard for another engine to come take its place. And the big important engines were too arrogant to go back out. And they said, no, 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 I only do big business cargo. I'm not going to carry that. And there was an older engine that said, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could. But the little engine was so sure of himself that he said, I think I can. I think I can do this. So he went out and he got all the cargo for the children and went through several stumbling blocks, a major snowstorm, all sorts of problems on the rails. And yet he was able to pull it off, and he delivered the toys and the food for children at Christmas, all because of his attitude. We have a tendency as women to let head trash stop us. We doubt ourselves. We think, oh, I'm not sure if I can do that. And we hold ourselves back. The truth is, you can do anything you truly set your mind and heart to. You can be just like the little engine that could, and you can make it. The next principle is the tip of the iceberg. Just like you see in this picture, there is so much more to you below the surface, just like the iceberg has so much more below the surface. And what's below the surface in you is good and wise and knowledgeable. And you are not showing that to the world when you're not claiming your voice. You want to stand in your power and recognize all your great assets and never, ever allow the head trash to stop you. Be like the notorious Ruth Bader Ginsburg. For those of you who don't know who she is, she was the Supreme Court Justice in the United States who sadly passed away in 2021. And she was an incredible woman. When she was in law school, both she and her husband were there at the same time. And he became very seriously ill and could not attend classes. So what she did is she went to both her classes and his classes and took notes. And they studied together, and they both graduated. He recovered, and he got a great job at a law firm right upon graduating. She could not as a woman. And so she ended up teaching law for a long time before she was able to work at a firm and then become a Supreme Court justice. If you live in the United States and you own your own car, or you own your own house, or you've ever gotten a loan, you have Ruth Bader Ginsburg to thank for that. She tirelessly campaigned for women's rights throughout all of her life, and she never gave up. And that's the lesson for you. When you have your dream and your purpose very clear, never give up on yourself. Keep going. Don't let anything stop you. So here's the demonstration, the part that you are most interested in, how you can apply this to your life right now. So let's talk about money, because money is the big one for so many women. We have all these myths and different ideas about money and what should happen with money. I want you right now to think, what would it be like if 3 years from now, you doubled your current income? How would that feel? What would you do with that extra money? Would you pay off debt? Would you buy a house? Would you fund your children's college? Would you grow your business or start a business? You can have that. It has everything to do with the way you value yourself, your gifts, your talents, and what your mindset is about money. And then you have to clear out the blocks that hold you back. I've talked about head trash a few times. We all have it. You know, I grew up in a violent alcoholic family and did not believe in myself for a long, long time. I was involved in a destructive relationship with a man who had me convinced I wasn't attractive, I wasn't intelligent, and no one else would want me. And that simply was not true, but that's how I felt. So one of the big ways that I shifted into confidence was with this technique. It's called daily success lists, and I highly recommend it. Did you know that your brain perceives it exactly the same if you make your bed or if you land $1 million account? Now, your emotions are going to be quite different in reacting to that, but your brain cares about completion. You set out to make your bed and you did it. You set out to land that $1 million account and you did it. The brain craves completion. So you do hundreds, if not thousands of things every day. At the end of each day, write down 10 things you've done and create a daily success list, and start with got out of bed, because some days you don't feel like it. Made your bed, made food for the kids, got off to work. All the different steps you take, every meeting you have, every phone call you make that you intended to make is a success. I can tell you the first year that I did this, and this goes back over 30 years, I only did it 285 days. But at the end of that year in my journal, I pulled it out and I looked at all my successes and I went, wow, I get things done. I'm effective. And it boosted my confidence. I still use this technique today because I'm so busy that if I don't write down what I've accomplished, I sometimes wonder what I've done and I don't have that feeling of achievement. It's a powerful tool and I highly recommend it. We also look at self-esteem bullseyes, silencing dream stealers, and healthy habits charts as ways to boost your confidence. And then speaking, many of you are here because you want to be better speakers. So here's some insider tips from the trenches. In this picture, there's a couple of things going on. The first one is that I'm out in the audience and most of them are laughing or having a good time and smiling. I love to go out into my audiences and interact with them. And the second thing is I have a participant who's about to speak and she is not holding the mic. I am. Never give your microphone away because the audience member can literally run away with it. The formula for a good speech. So many of my clients say, Snowden, how do I make a speech? And this is the formula. You have a powerful open. All too many women waste their open by saying, oh, thank you, Mary, for inviting me today. So nice to be with you all. You've lost the audience then. You've got 30 seconds to grab them. Start with something powerful and compelling, a question, a statistic, a quote, a story. It might be something, if you were a financial planner where you said, what would happen to your family if you died tomorrow? Powerful, huh? That's what you want, something to grab their attention. And then you want 3 main points backed up with the secret sauce. So what's the secret sauce? The secret sauce is story. Stories are the currency of memory. Stories are how we remember things throughout all time. When I start my speeches, I start with them with the fact that as much as I adore my wonderful husband, I did not take his last name because it's Whiting and I would be Snow White. And there's more to that story, but I can tell you that I've had people in airports shout out, hello, Snow White. And they were obviously in the room when I was speaking. People remember stories, and the stories should ideally not always be about you. They should be about other people and achievements that the other people have had. And then you need a strong close and a call to action. Tell them what you want them to do next. And use intriguing photos for stories. You know, I talked about how you don't need to use PowerPoint, but if you are, you really only want a few bullets, and pictures are really important. This story is clearly an anachronism. It's something out of time where Columbus is looking at a computer, but it draws you in and it makes you curious. You want pictures like that get people engaged. And I've got several more points and tips for you, but I want to give you a gift for being with me today. I'm going to send each of you who is here today the Shift Nerves into Excitement to be a Confident Speaker. It's a several-page tip sheet that will show you how to overcome your nerves very easily. And I'm going to also open up 3 complimentary slots for a voice and money assessment call. And in this call, you'll learn to unearth exactly what blocks you from speaking with confidence. You'll learn to apply simple steps immediately to help you claim your voice. And you'll learn to create a more prosperous vision of your finances and how to get there. All you have to do is go to bookacallwithsnowden.com and you'll be registered to potentially win one of the 3 slots. This is a $750 value because I'll watch a video of you before we come on and then analyze it and talk with you about your money goals as well. So go to bookacallwithsnowden.com. And I promised you some instant nerve calmers. So right now, wherever you are, just stand up. You probably are sitting. Most people sit, and I encourage you when you're doing a virtual presentation to stand because you have much more power in your voice and access to your breath. But right now, put your hand on your lower belly. You know, it's that part of us that all of us judge as not being slim enough. But give it some love because that's the seat of your emotions and that's the seat of your creativity. And right now, take a big, deep breath and fill up that lower belly and hold it. 1, 2, 3, and then let it out with a big whoosh. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, and then let it out. And one more time. 1, 2, 3. So your breath is one of the most powerful things you can use when you're overcoming nerves. Taking a deep breath before you start, pausing if at any point in your presentation you get rattled. Your breath is the seat of your power. And then whenever you're thinking about your presentation, if you get nervous, remember your purpose. My purpose is always to be of service to my audience, whether I'm speaking to 3 people or 3,000. I always pray before I go on that I be a clear vessel and be able to serve the audience because that's what my purpose is. Remember what your purpose is. Remember your purpose, and that will help you overcome any nerves. And then this tip is such a powerful one for speaking virtually. Use the laptop fan. This is something I learned from a colleague, Juliet Funt. You make sticky pads that have your core messages and you put them all around your laptop so that you don't have to look at notes. You can just look at the sticky pads if you need them. Most people don't need them, and you find that over time, but it's much better than scrolling through paper, scrolling through your computer, and it lets you be fully present with your audience. So what tool will you use right now? Will you use money mindset? Will you think about doubling your income? Will you use the daily success list? I can't tell you how powerful that is. If you want to boost your confidence, I highly recommend it. Will you start engaging the audience more? Will you hold on to the mic when you are speaking? Will you use the structure of a speech and weave in stories and their power? Will you apply intriguing photos with your stories? And perhaps you'll employ a laptop fan. Remember what the outcome is that we're shooting for. Remember, it's a beautiful sunny day and you relax sipping a soothing cup of tea or coffee. You log into your bank account and you smile broadly, seeing a huge increase in your bank balance. You're filled with joy and security as you realize that you're thrilled that your higher fees reflect the great value you deliver. No more undercharging. You're free of the self-doubt that used to hold you back. You're not letting your negative self-judgment stop you. You're confident and excited about speaking in public, and you do it more often. You're enthusiastic when you share about your business because you know you're getting great results and you love talking about that. And you're consistently attracting clients with your new money mindset on an ongoing basis. Wouldn't that be terrific? This woman, Shelley Linger, found that that was true for her. She has become a C-suite executive. She is now co-managing partner. She came to me initially for speaking, and she's continued on to talk to me about complex negotiations, how to be more effective speaking, and how to command more money. She has doubled her income starting this January, and I'm so proud of her. I want to close with a story. A few years ago, I had the privilege of being invited to attend the first Southern Circle in Atlanta. And it was in commemoration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday weekend, along with Nobel Peace Prize laureates John Hume from Northern Ireland, Ambassador Andrew Young, Coretta Scott King, and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. All of them touched me with their humanity. But the one who was most significant was Archbishop Desmond Tutu. While describing atrocities that you and I can never begin to imagine, he did so with such forgiveness and compassion and love that I knew I was in the presence of greatness, just as I am right now. Inside each of you is the fire of life. That fire is your mission, it's your vision, it's your passion, it's your fulfillment. When you're fired up, you can succeed in ways you never before thought possible and overcome barriers that have blocked you in the past. So my wish for you is that you take these tips and tools, you become more confident, you claim the power of your voice, you make more money because I know you'll do great things with it. And together, let's set the world on fire. Thank you.